If you opened this to hear someone either blindly hate or blindly defend Taylor Swift, it's not the place for you. Because I don't feel like having a fight with copyright, I won't be watching the show with you. Rather, I'll record my thoughts as I go and share them with you, possibly including clips. So this is going to be me mostly yapping. Commentary channel after all, including discourse that I saw online that inspired me to watch this in the first place. Episode 1. I'm watching and I'm listening to the conception of the Eras Tour and what goes into execution. I'm thinking back on how, as more and more people start to hate her, a common talking point I see is that she was never ever authentic and she's always had help. And the music has gotten worse because she takes it on herself more now, and secretly she has sucked this entire time. There's also the criticism that Travis Kelce is just the worst muse to have ever walked the planet. In terms of talent, I don't think I agree. I don't think she's the best singer, I never have, but I do think she has good lyrics. And watching this, I do not want to align myself with the notion that her creativity is the credit of someone else. Not fully. At least that's how it's being presented. I don't want to keep making the disclaimer, so I'll say it now. Taylor Swift is a brand. She's corporate. She has been for a while. We should take everything with a grain of salt. And to anyone watching me now, I want you to trust that I am taking it with a grain of salt and questioning the authenticity of what I'm seeing without me having to clarify it after everything I say. Are we on the same page? Okay. Awesome. So I do think this Eras Tour started out, at least, with authenticity. They really emphasized that they wanted to do this for the fans, which, but maybe it did start that way before she single-handedly momentarily saved the American economy and becoming elite. Something heavy happens. I don't remember ever hearing about this somehow, but they get into how a few shows were canceled because attacks were planned on the shows with explosives, as well as a separate tragedy. I believe I saw people on TikTok sort of making jabs at her for this, making jokes about how inauthentic she is, which was actually the main reason I decided to sit down and watch. I wanted the context. At first, she's talking about the tragedy that happened at a Taylor Swift themed party with little children, and she sighs, pauses, and then starts crying.
There was this horrible attack in Liverpool at a Taylor Swift themed dance party, and it was little kids that...
Taylor Swift is not a good actress. She's good at putting forth an image. She's good at manipulating emotion. I actually opened the wrong thing before the docuseries. I was watching an Eras concert movie, and the pep talk she gave the crew before they went on stage was very moving. I say that as someone who has, as I've mentioned, does not like her. I'm sure she's a good liar, but that's not the same thing. She's not a good actress. All of that is to say that I don't think she was pretending to be upset about what happened. And I think it's important for me to be honest about that, because we can hate a person without falsifying things. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves surrounding the internet and celebrity and influencer culture. Honestly, just any discussion in general these days. People have an inability to separate how they feel about something and approach it objectively. It's incredibly annoying to me. It is incredibly annoying to me. You can just not like something. You don't have to lie. You can just not like something. That is enough. So I don't think she was faking it. Ed Sheeran shows up right after she's having this talk with her mother about how nervous she is following the thwarted attack on her Vienna show. And while they're not acting, we should also remember we see what they want us to see, and sometimes that's fabricated. Treat this as reality TV. I'm torn between, of course, she's nervous after something like that. Who wouldn't be? And also, the way Ed Sheeran is I feel like sometimes they forget you're a human being.
I just have felt very hunted lately.
I feel like people have forgot that you're a human being amongst all of this as well.
I don't know. Something about it felt inorganic, but I'm at war with my empathy and my knowledge that sincerity and mega fame just don't mix. This is a super unimportant note, but at the end of the first episode, she leaves, goes home. She says she's not tired, so she's gonna watch TV and sign CDs until she's ready to fall asleep. And that right there is how I know celebrities live the same way we do, just with more luxury, on a more luxurious scale. Someone once said to me, celebrities aren't as chronically online like we are. Yes, they are. They just don't constantly post from their actual accounts. They have burners. They doom scroll. She went home and watched TV and scrolled until she passed out, just like the rest of us do. I just really wanted to point that out because I know I'm right. The second episode is largely about where we really get into the behind the scenes, the choreography and the people who came together to make it happen, their stories, how they got here. Very lovely, very connective and humanizing. It's just another... I just did a Chappell Roan video and I was complaining about dog hair everywhere. It was just another piece of hair floating. I thought it was a bug. Here, like, really getting into like the heart of everything and how it's done and the work. My problem watching docuseries of like famous artists performing is I get struck with so much envy because they're traveling the world and connecting with people for work, doing what they want to do, and I wish I was capable of that, but I'm not an actor. I probably will never be an actor. I'm not a songwriter. I could never meet the physical demands of performing on stage. Hell no. But then one of the choreographers, who's I think will be retired after this, notes that because of like the physical demand, it's not a forever kind of career for dancing, at least, like being a backup dancer for someone, because of the strain on the body, and that kind of gave me peace of mind. I like making content. That is a forever kind of job if you make it. Just sit and make content. I'm still extremely envious that I don't get to travel the world and live a huge exciting life though. Meh. But I do love getting to see it. Maybe one day I'll get to see it through my own eyes. Halfway through episode 2, they include Taylor Swift preparing everyone's bonuses. And that's where I really felt for the first time like, alright, I get it. She's a saint. It's sprinkled through the whole thing, but that's where I felt kind of beat over the head with it, because it comes at a time when people are criticizing her for being just another out-of-touch, apathetic billionaire. It wasn't filmed when the discourse began, like, as pressing as it is now, but it was released after. Timing is everything and nothing is accidental. I think they really want us to know she's a shining humanitarian, but I feel like that's always been heavily pushed about her. I get it. We get it. She gives a lot of money to the people in her life, and it was a lot of money. One of the articles that they showed in the show, I think, said in total it was like 197 million in bonuses. However, that doesn't take away from other extremely valid criticism about her silence and inaction on social issues. Two things can be true at a time. Episode 3 opens with her mother, Andrea, talking about how Taylor has been working at this since she was a small child. She says the dedication was always for the love of the craft. Basically, an exact quote is, "I never heard her say the word fame or money. It was always about the opportunity, ... so on and so on." And I find that very interesting coming from either of her parents when they put an unfathomable investment into the label that would sign her when they weren't even up and running yet, hence banking on her success for said label, essentially buying her that opportunity, at least in the start. That's just a wild thing to say when this is publicly available information. Be honest, lady, you and her father wanted a superstar. After all that money spent, not succeeding was not an option. And then they get into how important nostalgia is to the Eras Tour, which I don't think it takes a genius to figure that out. And this part started getting me, I'm not gonna lie. I was in high school for Red in 1989, and I can still so clearly remember, my eyes are watering, oh, I might actually cry. I can remember how hopeful it all felt and like being so excited about a new Taylor song or Taylor video. And then I'm filming this literally on New Year's Day, so I don't know if it's like new year, new beginnings, and just how much farther like all of these memories get the farther you go in life. And then going to school and talking about it or singing the songs in the hallway with your friends. I listened to Treacherous on loop. Cringe. As I worked up the courage to talk to a boy this one time. Man, heteronormativity had me in a chokehold back then. It was so cringe and embarrassing, but so innocent and sweet. And I look back on that girl and I feel what she was feeling, like nothing has changed. And I think going from there to here, I checked out from caring about celebrities on a personal attachment level a long time ago. I started recognizing how out of touch and greedy and selfish they are, and just how bad parasocial things are for you in general. But those memories are still there, you know? Like, put me in the same room as Justin Bieber, I will not trust him as far as I can throw him. However, I was obsessed with him as a teenager. Those memories are still there. Like, I still care about how I felt at the time, even though I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? So I understand other people's disappointment, like when it comes to the criticism and everything, and starting to see someone in a new light that you don't like. Also, this girl wore makeup to the gym. That's Hollywood, baby. Episode 4 is about the last handful of shows in the US, with a feature from Sabrina Carpenter and a lot of focus on the relationship with Travis Kelce. I don't have much to say beyond I now believe literally any song sounds better in its acoustic form, and I peeped them watching his games on the Fox channel, which I think says all you really need to know about this family. Now we're on episode 5. Andrea saying she went to business school.
I was completely the opposite. I went into business in school.
I sat the hell up. I was like, did you? Did you? Wow! What I said before about her dad investing in Big Machine Records just came flying back into my face like a launched brick. This is also the episode in which she shows the writing and producing process for Life of a Showgirl, which... Anyway, if you want my opinions on that, you can go right here. I remember seeing people say that she should have waited until the tour was over and she'd gotten rest to write another album because of how bad it was. But as I'm watching this, I don't know that it was because she jumped into another one so fast. Creating things, when inspiration hits, it hits. I will see something or hear some discussions and I immediately know what I'm gonna put in the script, which jokes I'm gonna write, how I'm gonna edit this frame, what I want the thumbnail to be, and like one very specific line that I want to say. But that doesn't mean the video is gonna be good, and resting up isn't necessarily gonna change that. Like, you're inspired when you're inspired, and if you're not creative, it's hard to explain. You just have to, if you know, you know. When it hits you, you need to do it. There's no waiting. Like, I need to do this now. Fun fact, which I'm sure any creative person watching right now can relate to, sometimes I'll get hit with an idea and like so much motivation at like after midnight at like 2 a.m, and I literally then struggle to fall asleep because of it because I'm so ready to get up and do it, but I literally can't at that moment. And just because you feel so motivated, so inspired, it means something to you, but like, we must recognize that that's not going to make it good. Sometimes you just flop, and it's as simple as that. The album is just bad. And because the title of this episode is Marjorie, they of course started talking about her grandmother, and that song, that album, came to me at a time when I lost someone, and then the year after I lost someone again. The 2020s. Boo! Would not recommend. I actually lost all 3 of my primary attachments, my caretakers, within a few years of each other. So that song just guts me every time I hear it. So yeah, I was sobbing. Fully pain in chest, sniffling, just sobbing. You know how you can be fine most of the time, and then every now and then, even years later, it hits you full force? Yeah, that happened to me for the first time in like a long while when I was watching. Grief is so strange and unpredictable. So, however I feel about Taylor Swift the person, that song is so beautiful and heart-wrenching. I can admit that. This is also the episode people online were saying one of the dancers spoke about how her mom passed recently, like only 2 or 3 years before the tour started, and she wishes her mom could have seen this. Afterward, on the way home, Taylor Swift says she feels lucky to have her family and Travis Kelce around to see her tour, see her success. People were making it seem like she said it to the girl's face. They literally presented it like, I miss my mom, I wish she could have been here to see this. Wow, that is so sad. I'm so happy my mom is still alive, unlike yours. That would have been insane, yeah, but That's not what happened. She's saying this hours after the fact. You can make the argument that she's making someone else's grief, and relatively fresh grief at that, about herself, and essentially pulling the "I'll be sure to hug my dog extra tight" when someone posts about their pet dying, which is obviously like, oh my god, shut the up. No one's happy for you. This moment is not about you and how fortunate you are. I can see that totally, but it's not what people were making it out to be. The last episode is simply the end of the tour, and I don't have anything to say about it really, so I'll just point out that I think it's funny they probably had to do these takes more than once because the product names and logos were facing the cameras. That's Hollywood, baby. So yeah, I just wanted to confirm or deny or give nuance or debunk the things that people were saying, and I think people were blowing this way out of proportion. This is just your run-of-the-mill backstage mini documentary with some moments of blatant artificial flavoring, but nothing too big or overtly evil. Like I said, if you want someone who's gonna blindly hate or blindly defend Taylor Swift, this is not the place for you. And this is coming from someone, like, I am extremely critical of Taylor Swift, you know, out of touch white billionaire who regularly attacks women, mind you, in some way, shape, or form. This is well documented, and I'm sitting here and I am telling you, it was not what people were making it out to be.